राजा या रंग हो, जग उसके संग हो, ज्यादा जो अंक पा सके। नियम 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 जहाँ का नया ये नियम। बेड़ी अज्ञान की पिघला के ज्ञान से मन भी सपने छुड़ा सके। कुदरत ने एक सा हक सबको है दिया, सब हक अपना कमा सके। नियम
Hello everyone, this is Gopal and you're watching my YouTube channel Gopal Mathematica, and I welcome you all to this interesting episode of my show called Knowledge and Learning. And today the guest with us is the founder of some of the math enrichment programs in India, like it is Vichar Vatika and Raising the Mathematician Foundation, which has been the supplement for the young budding mathematicians at school level, which nurtures their ability. Interestingly, he is also the director of Epsilon India Math Training Program for the school students, which identifies and nurtures bright students in mathematics. He has been working this kind of noble work since past 13 years, and he has conducted over 40 such residential camps and many online camps for teachers and students. He has spoken on the platforms like TEDx twice and has aced in teaching professionals Olympiad by securing All India rank 8. He is the recipient of Math Genius Award and India Achievers Award for outstanding professional achievements and contribution towards nation building. He has been on NCRT committee for a year for identifying the cause of math phobia in the students. And also he has published many research papers in national and international conferences. He is currently pursuing the PhD in math education, which is from Chinmaya Vishwavidyapeeth. Overall, I would like to say he is a passionate teacher, and it's a wonderful chance for all of us to understand more about math learning. And I'm very happy to say this, that you are in my channel, and thanks for accepting my sincere invitation, Vinay sir. So
Thank
I
you. Thank
welcome
you so
you
much,
for this.
Gopalji.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's my privilege. There has been some amazing, honorable people on your YouTube channel, and I consider this my privilege to be part of your show. Thank you for inviting me.
So sir, I have few questions that is uh, requested that you have to answer them so that people who are listening to this video, like all the teachers and students, they will be learning the ways of improving the math learning in
Sure.
school education.
Sure.
So, sir, I would like to start this now. So, can I do
Please,
this with
please,
your permission?
please, please,
Yes,
please.
yes. Thank you so much, sir. So, but I would like to start from very beginning, like what actually motivated you, and how do you come across this subject of mathematics in your career? Like how you started?
Okay. Um, so honestly, I don't remember the first instance where I got hooked on to mathematics, but as far as I can remember, in my early childhood days, I was fascinated by patterns and I love to play with numbers. My mother used to give me some puzzles. As a young child, I used to enjoy working on them. I think around the age of 7, I remember clearly that I had learned cross stitch, the stitching with the needle and lattice grid kind of thing. And I used to enjoy looking at the patterns that are formed behind the uh, net. So we see all X's in the front, but what is the pattern that happens behind? I also remember chip tiles, which used to be put on the floor, and what is the kind of pattern that we can find in those chip tiles or bathroom tilings. So I enjoyed all this as a young child. I remember that. But I think my love for real mathematics came from my high school math tutor, P.P. Raman sir. He was a retired headmaster at that time. And I think this is a common story for anybody. You ask anybody how did they like a subject, there would invariably be some math teacher who has played a big role in their life in kindling their love for the subject. So that is when I started enjoying mathematics and I started doing good in mathematics. So until then, I was enjoying math, but I was doing okay when it came to school curriculum and things like that. So that's my bit of introduction at school level. And I enjoyed working on math problems as I grew up. I worked in the corporate for about 7 years, but that was not related to math per se. But after that, I felt that I should be pursuing math teaching because teaching and math, both things I enjoyed very much as a student as well. So that's how my introduction to mathematics subject and my uh, work into math education began.
That's very fascinating, like how you were working in some other place and then coming into math education. So really appreciable the work that you have decided that time that you have to come into education. It was like blessings for all the students because students from India have grown a lot. Like I have few questions that later I will ask you. So we will discuss it. So, sir, my next question is, can you please tell us in brief that about your foundation, Raising the Mathematician and Vishar Vartika, how it started and how it works for math students?
Sure. So Raising a Mathematician Foundation started about 10 years ago. And how it started was there were a few of us who were into teaching, and we were all involved in our own pursuits of math education or applied math education. And we used to encounter students who were deeply motivated in math, and we felt that we are not doing justice to them just by giving what is there in the curriculum, because they deserve much more and they have an appetite for much more, but we are not able to give something to these students. Second was we felt these students, they deserve a community of like-minded students. Just like when it comes to sports or anything, there is nobody can be a superstar just by playing sport alone. Or if somebody is becoming a champion in chess, they cannot be a chess champion just by sitting at their home alone. They need a community. We felt we should bring some students together and then give them an opportunity to learn from each other and also learn from experts. That's how Raising a Mathematician Foundation slowly took shape. So there we started with our first program called Raising a Mathematician Training Program, which has been successfully running since the last 10 years. And this is a program for high school students who are passionate about mathematics, and 100 school students across the country, across 18 to 20 states, are selected for a residential camp, for a week-long residential camp, which is provided absolutely free of cost to the students. And they get to learn from each other, and there are experts who come from the industry as well as academia to train them. So that's how it started as a one program. And after a few years, we felt that there are other programs that we can bring, into their that we can offer to students. like Epsilon India that you mentioned. So Epsilon is a gifted education program that happens in the US. And the founder of Epsilon India, when he saw students from India going all the way to, I'm sorry, the founder of Epsilon US, if I think I said Epsilon India, the founder of Epsilon US, Dr. George Thomas, he saw a lot of students from India are coming all the way to US to
Yeah.
attend the camps over there. So he said, why don't you start one program in India and I'll give my full support to do that. So that's how Epsilon India started under the same philosophy of Epsilon US. So this is a camp where students who are 9 to 13 years of age and who are much ahead of their uh, you know peers in terms of their mathematical ability. For instance, we have students who are 8, 9 years old and who are doing at least college level mathematics. So what can these students do when they are not with such a community of students and teachers? So when they come to this camp, it's an immersive 2-week camp where they get to learn directly from mathematicians, statisticians, computer scientists. So we started various programs like that where students can come and do an immersive program and also do Olympiad training if they are interested in pursuing International Mathematical Olympiad. And recently, we did our first camp on applied mathematics, this application of math in finance, economics, and business. So that was done in collaboration with Mahindra University and Pravaha Foundation. So once students come for these programs, they get exposed to a bigger uh, picture of mathematics. So that is the goal of raising a mathematician foundation. Mainly two things. One is exposing students to different areas in mathematics. Second is identifying and nurturing talented students in mathematics, along with many other goals. Um, Coming to the second organization, Vichar Vatika. So before Vichar Vatika was founded, Vichar Vatika is also a organization that deals in math education. Before that was founded, I was mainly traveling across the country, visiting different schools, doing workshops for students and teachers. But then somewhere we felt that unless and until we work with a student for a longer period of time, we may not be able to make that kind of an impact in that student's life. So in
Exactly.
Vicharavatika, we started longer duration courses where we can work with students. For instance, we have a course called Ganit Krida. And in that course, we introduce students to puzzles and games that require mathematical thinking. And that's a year-long course that happens starting from grade 2 students all the way up to grade 7 students. And if those who want more challenge, there are other courses like Ganit Manthan and Math Excellence Program and things like that. So these were the main focuses of starting these programs. And the overall goal is to kind of make an impact into the math education, education and the level of students in terms of their mathematical ability and try to improve them as much as we can in our country.
Wonderful, wonderful. The way you all are working, it's very rare to see like any kind of foundation works at the school level because we have MTTS program at college level and for university level students. But for the school student, I think you are the only one that is working so deeply into the roots of the students, like in the
I would like to
every
mention something.
yeah,
MTTS and Gomaresan sir is our inspiration to start raising a mathematician training program because
wonderful.
our founder chairman, he was part of MTTS and he said that there is a program like this for college students and we should do something for school students. So that is
Exactly.
there. And there are also other organizations that work at school level. But many a times what happens is when we are a not-for-profit organization, and this is something that happened with us also when we started, that everybody was taking out their spare time to work for the NGO. So when there are a few individuals who are only able to take spare time to work for the NGO, the work also will be limited. But once we have people who are fully involved and full time involved in the foundation, then the activities and other things can grow. So yeah.
That's really true. Like MTTS program has been like very much successful in India, and the way it is producing a lot of mathematics for the students and improving the learning. So, and Kumaresan sir has done a lot for this India.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And at the same time, I would like to say that for the school students, you are one of like like a junior Kumaresan, I would say.
That's a great honor. I don't think I deserve that.
Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
sir. So, and one question that I would ask you that the teachers who are working in this program, so how they come and join you? Like,
I think there are two types of teachers. One is teachers who are teachers for making a living, and there are teachers who are teachers because they just want to be teachers, right? So the teachers who join us are the second category of people who are deeply passionate about the subject and who want to make an impact in a student's life. So they just come and join. So what happens is some teachers they come as volunteers sometimes for some of these camps. They see how the camps are conducted, what is the structure, and over a period of time, we can also understand what are the areas where their strength lies, and which of the programs that we offer is where they can come and contribute. And some teachers, they may not contribute directly into the teaching aspect, but they contribute to some other aspect in terms of operational work and other things, or in terms of creating questions or proofreading questions. So there are a lot of work that already exists, and depending on what is one's liking and inclination, they join us. So yeah, I mean the gates are always open for anybody who wishes to join.
wonderful, sir. My next question is, as you're dealing with a lot of students across the country, participating in various camps organized by Raising the Mathematician and Vichar Vatika. What do you think? How much potential our young students have at school level?
The potential, I cannot even put it in words to be very honest. And it is beyond anybody's imagination when it comes to seeing the potential of our students. And I'm saying this because every year we just get floored by the kind of students that we encounter. We feel that, oh my God, sometimes we feel it's it's a god of mathematics that has come in a little form in front of us. That is the level of ability and passion that many of these students carry with them, and it is very difficult to make somebody understand that such a young mind is capable of doing such complex levels of mathematics. So there is immense potential across the country, and with the work that we are doing, we are still catering to a very small percentage of the students across India. And even in that percentage, we are seeing actually diamonds and diamonds in the rough. So just think about the entire population of the country, and with sheer percentages, there are a lot of students who are yet to be identified, who are the budding mathematicians and computer scientists of the country. There's a lot of work that we need to do in that space. The scope is immense, and we are just waiting for more and more students to come to these programs.
Now, as we all know that in this society, it has been always told, "Oh, maths, that is really tough." So, which always triggers young minds. Like the they already struggle when they listen all these kind of phrases from the parents or the teachers or mates. So I want your comments on this. That how this slow poison always been injected in early age. So will this affect the young kids? Like saying
Mm.
this, like it is a very tough subject, you cannot do it. So what do you think about this? Should a teacher or any senior should say this to the juniors who are doing math at school level? What do you think, sir?
So I would like to take a step back and talk in general about how different subjects are perceived. So if you ask any student to give one word for the subject of history, he will say, okay, history is all about dates and years. If you ask a student what is biology about, they will say scientific names and drawings. What is physics about? They'll say physics is about laws and solving math problems in physics. You ask them what is math about? They'll say math is about formulae, shortcuts, tricks, and so on. So why we say these words for these subjects? And you can ask any student anywhere in India, across the world, this is how they will relate to, most students would relate to these subjects. I think that is because, in their view, the entire subject is limited to something very small. So for them, mathematics is about remembering some formulae, plugging in and solving some problems, thinking about some shortcuts, tricks, and things like that. In fact, many a times when people when we meet people, even teachers for that matter, they say, "Oh, you are doing these training programs. You must be teaching them some shortcuts to crack competitive exams." So somehow we have limited the utility of mathematics just to crack some exams, and that's about it, right? So I think we should start from there. Why are we learning mathematics, and what is mathematics all about? So generally, if a student says that I don't like a particular subject, or I find something hard, the kind of analogy I would like to draw is, let's think the same about food. Will there be anybody who will say that I don't like food? No, everybody will say I like food, but we will have our own preferences. Some may find South Indian food more tasty, some may find Italian more, some may want some other kind of dish. So we all have our preferences, but there is nobody who says that I do not like food, right? So this is something that we need to think about subjects also. So when we say mathematics, when we say I don't like mathematics, maybe we don't like the kind of math that we have been introduced to. But there is a lot of other areas in mathematics that we may enjoy doing, right? So this is something that students, I think it is our responsibility as teachers, educators, and parents to broaden the view about mathematics. So if we ask students, do you like puzzles? I think invariably almost all students will say that I like puzzles. But they may not think that solving puzzles is using a mathematical thinking in actual application. So when it comes to coming to your question about the slow poison of talking about math as a difficult subject, as a hard subject, I think it becomes hard when we are not used to problem solving, when we are not used to struggling on a problem for a long time, when we don't enjoy these kind of processes. But if we can give that particular experience to a child where they enjoy working on a problem for a long time, and it's like sport, right? I mean, at in mid summer heat, for 5 6 hours, a child may not feel fatigue at all in playing in the ground, a game
Okay.
like cricket or something like that. Why? Because they have enjoyed the game, so the struggle becomes very enjoyable. So it is our responsibility to show students the enjoyable part of mathematics, so that they get used to the struggle and they start enjoying struggle. And anything requires effort, anything requires struggle, just like the sport or music or math. So there is nothing, or cooking, or anything you take, it requires hard work. So anything is hard in some sense or the other, not just mathematics. But we enjoy the process of doing things hard, and that is where the subject becomes more interesting. So just coining math as a hard subject and everything else as easy or not so hard, I think that is not that is not the right way to introduce the subject.
Quite interestingly answered. So, teachers, I would say that please pay attention to these methods, what sir has said, that You have to be quite wisely introduce the students about the problem solving methods so that they can enjoy the essence of math. So my next question is like, what do you think a traditional way of teaching at school will create future mathematicians? By the way, we all know that a school teacher has a particular syllabus that has to be completed in stipulated time. So in this run, what is the suggestion that you want to make for all the math teachers at school level?
So, firstly, I would like to think about not just mathematicians, but in terms of, are we creating good problem solvers for
Yeah,
tomorrow? Because whether they become mathematician or not, everybody has to deal with problem solving in their real life. So our goal is to create those kind of problem solvers in whichever field they go. And mathematician is one of the fields where they will be solving problems. And by using mathematics as a tool, it is very easy to create problem solving approaches. That is where math teachers are at an advantage than many other teachers, because here we are directly dealing with logic, and we are we are able to take the students to problem solving. Coming to the traditional approach, it is very easy for somebody to sit on their sofa couch and comment that this is what the cricket captain should have done to win this match. It is very easy for somebody to make a comment there, and it's a different thing altogether playing that game there in the field, and at that particular moment of time, what would one do, and so on. Same is the case with commenting about teachers, what they should be doing and what they should not be doing. I completely agree with you that they have a lot of struggle. They have a lot of framework within which they should be working. But I can share some things that I have learned from some amazing teachers, and what I find very unique about them and how their students have excelled in life. So one thing that I feel is good teachers will always engage in inquiring questions with the students. So their objective will not be to give an answer. Somebody is asking a question, I will give the answer. No, they will ask questions in return to the student. So if the student says, I don't know if this answer is correct or not, but this is what I feel, then in reply, the teacher can say probably, what makes you think that this answer is correct? So when we ask that question, the child is going to think, okay, what is the reason, right? We are again asking for reasoning. And then they will give the reason, okay, because let's say, the sum of the digits is divisible by 9, and that is why I think that it is going to happen. And then we can ask the next question, what makes you think that the sum of the digits divisible by 9 will make it happen? Will the sum of the digits divisible by 8 will make the same thing work for 8? What do you think about that? So these kind of questions actually make the students think. And I think as a teacher, we should always engage in terms of asking these questions to students. That is one. Second thing that I can think about is teachers to be continuous learners. And like I said, if we are in this profession to make a living, then there is only limited things that we can do. But if we are in this profession because we are passionate about math and math education, then I think one can never stop learning, and one can never be satisfied with doing only things which are there in the curriculum. One may give excuses or reasons saying that, no, I don't have time. There are other commitments at home, family and other things and things like that. But if we take the example of somebody working in the corporate, if they don't upskill themselves, they are out of the job, right? But fortunately or unfortunately, teachers are not kicked out of the job if they are not upskilling themselves. So that should not make one relax, and we should always look for learning more and more things, and thereby thereby, because students will then look up to us. They'll say that, oh, my teacher is always learning, so I should also be always learning. And I think this is something that is something that we should be bringing to the classroom to And that I think along with all other traditional methods can still make a difference.
So these are,
One more point, if I
yeah,
may add.
sure.
So one is the way we look at mistakes when students commit mistakes.
Hmm.
Because many a times what happens is the person who says the right answer always gets the applause, and somebody who is not giving the right answer does not give the applause. So this is quite demotivating for the students. And as a teacher, we should also not forget that, or as an individual, not even a teacher, as an individual, we should not forget that any great discovery or any great invention, nothing has happened without mistakes, right? So mistakes will happen. Mistakes only show that the student is willing to take an intellectual risk in doing something, and we should appreciate that particular thing. So the appreciation should be for the effort and not for the final result. Because if we say that, oh, but you made mistakes, these are the silly mistakes that you did. Boss, I mean, silly mistakes we all make. If you make tea every day the tea is not going to taste the same. There will be some mistakes. But does that make me a less abled person to make tea or coffee? No, we all make that mistakes. So this idea about silly mistakes and other things, we should not be much worried about. We should be looking at how we encourage students to take that intellectual risk and try different ways to solve the problem, and not demotivate them when they make mistakes. So this is, I think, something very important that we should do in our classrooms.
Thank you, sir, for this valuable suggestions. And even Kumarasan sir insists that he says one line that mistakes are the birthright of every individual. So we learn from mistakes.
Wow.
So there is no problem to make mistakes, and no one has, like what you said, no one has discovered anything without doing mistakes. So that's so true to understand. So thank you for your valuable suggestions that you're making one after another. It's going to help a lot of young teachers and also for the students. So I have few questions left, sir. Let us finish it very quickly. So my next question is, I have seen many students from mostly like from government schools. They have less access of technologies and support. Can you suggest or illustrate how a teacher can create interest among students with minimum aids, whichever available, so that it can help in building an equal opportunity for the students learning there, uh, in spite of learning in strong infrastructures like private colleges or private schools that we. So, what would be
Sure.
the suggestion for all the teachers over there?
I think when it comes to a subject like mathematics, it is the cheapest subject, unlike science. We don't require a lot of apparatus to show something fascinating as we can show in science. In math, we can do it with very cheap things like a chalk, a board, some tokens, some coins. We can just take anything that is available, and we can create some amazing math problem or something for them. So it is more to do with the stuff than the style, right? And technology and all these things are definitely at an advantage, but it is not just technology. But if we have that stuff that we can deliver in the class, then I think technology and all these things come very second. So, what I think teachers who are especially teaching in government schools and other things, in fact, for other schools as well, what I think is we should introduce students to a wide range of problems. Where by problems, I don't mean problems where they actually plug in and play. Like exercise 3.1 will be dependent on what is covered before exercise 3.1. No, I don't mean those kind of problems. Problems that really involve thinking. How do you solve this particular problem? A problem which will make them come up with different possible ways to attack the same thing. So when we introduce these kind of problems, I think students will be equipped with a lot of skills like questioning, inquiring, critical thinking. And these are the skills that we should be developing in students more than, you know, any other, you know, learn this formula and then how do you solve this problem in 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes and things like that. So that is something that I feel we should be focusing on. Secondly, how do we give them resources to students? So there is no student, I think, today, or hardly any student, I would say, who does not have access to a cell phone, right? And thanks to data being dirt cheap or almost free, we can have access to some good resources online. It is just that students do not know where to find these kind of resources. So as they say, instead of giving them fish, teach them how to fish and they will learn. So if we can teach them how to look for these resources, I think that will go a long way. What are the keywords that we use to find? So if you want to learn how to solve linear equations, then how do you search for that on the internet? Which are the websites that always come on top and give solutions to that, or give them access to resources like Khan Academy, which is available free of cost, right? And I know so many schools who are working with students from the marginalized sections, and they give access to Khan Academy to these children, and they learn on their own, because you can have assessment, you get good content, you get good problems, everything happens there. And of course other websites also, or YouTube channels like Number File or Three Blue One Brown, and these kind of YouTube channels also can give some exciting material for them. So I think if we open this world of online resources to the students and teach them how to look for content there, how do you search and find your own content, that goes a long way. Because Gopalji, I think you may remember back when you were in school and I was in school, when internet had just come, right? And most of us would go and sit in a cyber cafe, not
Exactly.
knowing what to do. Nobody is going to send us an email, but we will open our inbox, see if there is, and somebody would have sent some greeting. And apart from that, we don't know what to do, what to search
Exactly.
for on the internet, right? So this, I think, should be taught to these children. How do you search and find the content that you are looking for? So by these two things, one is giving them problems that will make them think. Second is giving them resources from where they can learn. They can go a long way, irrespective of which background they are coming from.
One more question, sir. Like here in West Bengal, a very few people have the idea about the trainings or skill development camps related to mathematics. So can you help them, like naming few, and can you explain for them what is the need of attending these kind of camps and how much it can benefit the students?
Sure. So, Gopalji, I think it is not just in West Bengal, but even in the society where I live or in my nearby areas also, there are, when we look at how many people know about these programs, it is always less. So, this is what I would recommend. When it comes to these kind of residential training programs where students are coming across India, one question that many times parents have is, what is my ROI? What is my return on investment? If I'm sending my child, spending this much amount of money, sending them to a particular camp, what is it that I'm going to get in return? And many times when we look at what we get in return, we are looking at something tangible. That is this going to improve the grades in their school exam? Is it going to help them crack any other entrance exam or competitive exam? But that may not be the case always when we look at that. And the kind of things that we get in return might be much more valuable than all these small things that we are aiming for. So I think in these residential camps, one thing that I have observed is students get highly motivated. And motivation is something that we cannot buy from the market, neither can we induce from outside. It has to come from within, right? And how do we, if we can get a child motivated or get an individual motivated, I think half the job is done, right? There is very less effort that is needed from a teacher or from a parent outside. So getting into these programs will make them motivated to do a lot of things. Why? because there they are seeing others who are at least as bright as them. They are seeing peers and seniors, maybe 1 or 2 years older than them, who have done some amazing job, and this highly ignites their passion towards that particular subject or learning, and they go back with that kind of motivation. So I think for the peer group and motivation, we should be definitely sending students to these camps. Second is helping them look at a larger picture about the subject, because usually when it comes to math, for instance, or even science, or for that matter any subject, they might be exposed to school curriculum and olympiads, but nothing beyond these two. And there is a big world out there beyond these two areas of, these two sides of mathematics. So I think by coming to these camps, they get exposed to all these areas as well. And of course, meeting and learning from experts from the industry and academia, they go a long way in a student's life. So you asked about programs. There are a lot of programs where students can apply and do that. The best way is to visit raisingaMathematician.com, and you will get details about these programs. We also have different WhatsApp groups where we share about any good program, competition, course that students, teachers can attend, and that information comes as free. So they can write to us, or they can ping on the number on the website, and we can add them to a WhatsApp group. That way they'll be updated about good programs happening in mathematics.
Yes. So students, you all can approach this particular site which sir is saying, that is Raising the Mathematician Foundation, as because I really appreciate this work, the way they are working along with sir, Vinay Nair sir. He's been inspiration to all of us. And so students, you should try at least once so that it will boost up your math experience, and it will create a lot of interest in you to pursue more of maths in your life. So, sir, I have a few more questions. So, so the next one is, apart from school textbook, what else is needed for the students? Which area they have to work hard to become a mathematician?
Right. So I think first thing that we should all try to find as a student is like-minded friends, because that goes a long way. There is no mathematician that I can think of who has worked in silos in their own room and they have read a lot of books and they have become great. So we need to find a group of people who are passionate like us, or even more, in the subject. And it is not very difficult to find that group today, because of because there are a lot of such forums that are available online. In fact, even at Raising a Mathematician Foundation, students have a Discord server where they keep discussing a lot of things on their Discord channel and things like that. They network with each other. They share different opportunities. So one is, we should definitely be in such a peer group. Second is, we try to do some small courses about different aspects of mathematics. So how it will help is, it will help us broaden the view about mathematics, and also help us understand what are the different areas of mathematics which we find interesting. So I can give an example of a particular student who was passionate about computer science, and somebody suggested him to do a course that was available on YouTube for free on game theory. And he found that course so interesting that he found an intersection between computer science and game theory called algorithmic game theory. And he started studying more of that. And now he is pursuing a PhD in algorithmic game theory. And
Mm.
this exposure that he got into that course of game theory was when he was in high school, right? And he had no idea about what game theory was, but he tried. He tried reading up on it, doing some courses, and now there are a lot of courses available on YouTube itself. So we should try all these testing waters, and we should try to find what is the area of math and its intersection with what will give us that kick or intellectual high, and pursue that. So look for these kind of courses. And the last point is patience and perseverance. So when we are working on problems, solutions don't come very easy, and patience and perseverance go a long way in problem solving. So work on problems. There are so many books available. Pick up one book, start doing problems on their own as as a regular sadhana, if I can put it that way, and that will go a long way. So peer group. Second is looking for courses, getting exposed to different areas in mathematics, and whatever books, other things are available. And of course, organizations like Raising a Mathematician Foundation or other organizations in your local area who might be doing different programs, get associated with them. And that way also you can learn a lot.
Exactly what you said is completely correct, because even the bulb that was invented, it took a lot of failure, means a lot of failures have been faced, and then finally, I heard it like more than 500 times he tried it, and then at last the bulb was invented, and now we are living in bright light even in night time. So
Mm.
hard work and failure both are part of life. We have to do that. We have to encounter that. So, one more interesting thing that I have noticed through your social media, like and even through Raising the Mathematician uh, page from Facebook, that many students from India are getting prestigious scholarship. Like I would like to name one of them, that is Spirit of Ramanujan, and many are from your training camps. So I want to ask you, like, how do you make them?
So this is a general notion that many a times parents, and when some student wins such kind of fellowship, the next day is a terrible day for us, because we'll get a lot of calls from other parents. What should I do so that my child can also get that kind of fellowship? So the advice that I give to them is that all these students who have received any such fellowship or award or recognition that I know, they have never done mathematics for the sake of that recognition, or they have not, their objective of doing any course or attending any camp was never to get this particular fellowship or not. They were doing all that for the sake of mathematics and for the sake of learning. The fellowship and award is only an outcome of what they have done, right? So it's not aiming for the award, but doing good mathematics, pursuing good courses. And once they come for any of our programs, they are in a radar, within our radar. So we keep suggesting you can do these courses. These are good courses that you can do. Some of these courses are available under Raising a Mathematician Foundation. Some of these courses are done by some other institute. Some are free, some are sponsored, some have a particular price tag. You try to do whichever is best, and some students take it up and some students do not take it up. Those who take it up and are able to do some of these amazing courses, when they apply for these fellowships, that is what they see, how passionate they are, what have they done beyond the school curriculum. Just to name a particular course, there is one course called Program for Algorithmic and Combinatorial Thinking, which is done by one professor, Rajiv Gandhi, who teaches in a university in the US. So we suggest that course because I myself, I have attended that course 3 times and I have immensely benefited from that particular course. So I suggest that course to parents and their students. Now, when that course is happening online, then it is because it is US and India, they may have to stay up late in the night to do these courses. And again, they have schoolwork and other things. So one concern that parents have is how will they be able to manage both of these? So if they are passionate about math, they will somehow manage, they will struggle, they will stretch. So if they can do that, then uh, they can kind of get all the things that are required for this kind of fellowship or award. So my suggestion would be go after mathematics, not after awards. Awards will keep coming to you if you become like the flower which gives out good fragrance, bees will automatically come to you. You don't have to run behind bees.
Wonderful, sir. The way you have answered all the questions. And one last that I have not listed in my questions, but suddenly it came into my mind because I have been following you from long time. So I've seen that one Ramanujan Yatra that you have been done. So
Uh-huh.
what was that? Please explain so that we would
Right.
know about it.
So, we, like you said, what should we do to ignite spark in students in mathematics? Many times we always think only about through teaching mathematics. But if you look at all of us who are into teaching mathematics or any other subject, the stories of mathematicians and the top people in that field has been so inspiring, right? And that goes a long way in our journey and in whatever exploration we do. So I felt that maybe we should take students through the life of Srinivasa Ramanujan, through the life of people who were associated with Srinivasa Ramanujan. Because when we see somebody as a stalwart as Ramanujan, many a times we don't see the people who were responsible for Ramanujan becoming Ramanujan today, right? And it is very important to understand what kind of personalities these people had, what kind of caliber these people had who could identify the genius in Ramanujan. How did they support? How did Ramanujan's wife support? How did his mother support? What kind of a person was Hardy? What kind of a person was the person who identified when he was working as a clerk that is a budding mathematician? So in Ramanujan Yatra, what we did was an experiential tour. Students, they went to all these places. We went to Ramanujan school. We went to his home. We were doing a lot of storytelling and also doing a bit of Ramanujan's math. And through that experiential learning, the idea was to ignite that spark in student that, you know, I will be willing to sacrifice anything if I want to pursue mathematics. So that is the feeling that we wanted to give, and that's something that we did. It's been a while that we did that. Hoping to do that maybe next year again. So yeah.
Wonderful. The way you have done small things that made big effect, big impact on the wide audience of students who love mathematics is really appreciable. So, one last question that I would like to ask you is that uh, what is your advice for all the students who are watching this video that uh, how they can become good in whatever they learn, not only mathematics, but as a student, as a individual, as a human, how they can become successful in life and can give something to this nation or to this world.
Sure. So I think I'll say something about math and as well as something else, something that has helped me. So it is not like a advice I'm giving, but something that has helped me a lot. One is, if you want to be good in math, keep in touch with puzzles. Any kind of puzzles that you like, not necessarily math puzzles, it could be word puzzles, could be anything. Keep in touch with puzzles. That will go a long way in terms of building your mathematical thinking. With respect to growth, I think it is very important to identify what we really love to do. And once we identify what we love to do, we are passionate about, and what we are born to do, then I think work becomes much more enjoyable. So it is very important that we identify that. It may not come in 1 day, 2 day, it may take years. It comes very late. I understood what I'm supposed to do when I was 28 years old. So we cannot know when we get that particular thing. But the best way to do that is be associated with people who are very inspiring, and looking at them, we can draw a lot of inspiration and we can keep growing. So this is what I would suggest to students. And for parents and teachers also, if I may, I would like to
Sure,
just share my
it will be
two
very helpful.
cents.
Yeah, sure.
So parents, many a times there is a concern today that if they pursue mathematics, will they be able to make a good living
Yeah.
versus pursuing some other fields that may be more lucrative. So things have changed, and math is highly or even more lucrative than many other fields, because pursuing math opens a lot of other doors, unlike accounting or engineering or medicine, which narrow us down to certain fields. Not that they are bad, but if we are clear that that is what we want to do, that is good. But math is like you have a tree trunk and then you can branch out to many other fields. And there is enough money in if you get into the corporate or even the academia for that matter. So if the child likes mathematics, allow them to pursue mathematics. Don't think that they will end up being a mathematician only. Very few people end up being mathematicians. Others pursue something else where they find their love for mathematics. This is for parents that I would like to share. And to teachers, like I said earlier, keep learning, be a student in your heart, and students will always draw inspiration from you. If you are a student or a teacher student who's always looking up for learning, and who is not a teacher for making a living, but for raising the standard of life in students. So that would be my suggestion to teachers, and that's about it.
Thank you so much, Vinay sir. The points that you have made, and I really feel like this video is going to be a very uh, very helpful one for all of us, all the teachers, all the parents, and mostly for the students. The math learning, the benefits that math can give, and the way they can explore and enjoy mathematics. So, and I really appreciate the work that you're doing with raising the mathematician and HR Vertica and a lot of other camps that you're running. And I'm really honored and blessed that you are here today. And I really suggest all the students to go through this particular camps that has been organized by Raising the Mathematician Foundation. And I really personally say this to all the students because being a math teacher, I have seen this. I have seen this camps. I have seen this trainings. The way the teacher pushes, the way uh, sir has been doing this job, this work, this service. Mostly, I would say it's not like a job. It's a service that you're doing. I really, really thank you. I want to thank you that you're doing this from long time, and I wish you continue this and ignite a lot of young minds throughout India and also the abroad. Thank you so much, sir, for coming to my channel. I'm really honored
Thank you.
with your
Thank you
presence.
so much, Gopalji, for your kind words. It's you're just being very humble. It's my privilege to be on this platform. And please keep continuing your great work. The time and effort that you are taking to build videos on your YouTube channel, that only shows for serving more and more students. You are doing this just out of your passion. So we draw
Thank
inspiration from each other. So I respect the work that you do. And I wish all the viewers all the very best, and keep watching the next videos of Gopalji. I've been really inspired and felt motivated from the previous videos. So I hope you also learn, and together we will
you.
hopefully change the face of mathematics in India.